Welcome to the Enlightened Misfits podcast, the space for entrepreneurs on a quest for unwavering certainty and purpose. I'm your host, Lauren, and each episode is a compass guiding you through authentic conversations, unraveling the mysteries of your human design chart, and offering tools from the remarkable guest. Join me as we embark on a journey to manifest greatness and create a life aligned with our deepest purpose. This is the space where misfits find their enlightenment. Welcome to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Welcome back to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. I am your host, Lauren, and in today's episode, I have Flavie. She is an intuitive business mentor. Welcome. So happy to have you with us this morning.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
So can you I know before we started recording, we were kind of chatting, but can you kind of take us back to the moment of your psychic awakening, like where you, when your son was born, and a little bit about your story and how that kind of
Sure.
shifted you into your life path that you are right now.
Definitely. Yes, definitely. Well, I'm going to come back a bit even more earlier because when I was 12, it's the first time when my mom brought me to an esoteric library. And for the first time of my life, I entered there and I just feel like home. The smell, the book, even if I didn't know anything about all of this, it was like, I love that place. I really love that place. And slowly I started, to get interested into energy, spirit, everything around spell. And I even tried to do my own spell, to have my sister to have a grade, to have my friend to have a boyfriend. It completely failed. Let me tell you what. It was a mess. So I stopped it. And after I met my husband, who was also in the energy, has been one of the first French young people who has started to learn Reiki because it has been initiated at 12. And I didn't know Reiki, and I was, okay, I don't know what this is. But it's only far later when my son was born. He was born and diagnosed with a very rare disease. And for like 9 months, we were running through diagnosis, hospital, and very, very bad news. And one day, I had that feeling that I was, no, there's something else existing and I will find a way. So I decided against my family-in-law to say, we will not continue to follow him with the normal way, through the hospital. And I started to learn healing, all those kind of things until one day COVID hit. And with that slow moment, that slow life that we had, it has been for me like a moment of inner silent, helping my development, my psychic ability. I've just raised up my mediumship also, and I was, what was that? So many of my friends told me, Flavie, you are a medium. And I was, no, I don't want to be a medium. Because for me, the image of the mediumship, was like in the sixth sense. And I say, want to see dead people. I don't want to see, blood or people with things and so on. So I was, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. But you cannot fight what life has for you. So slowly, I start, to do what I'm calling soul reading. I had some picture of people, and I was, okay, what am I feeling? And the results were just mind blowing. I get messages that I was, how can I know that? And slowly, it became a practice. So that was initially more psychic things until one day. I remember we were looking for a house with my husband. It was a Saturday morning, and you should know that on a Saturday morning, you let me sleep. You don't wake me up. And that day, at 7:30, I felt, like a presence. And I opened my eyes, and literally, I saw a spirit in front of me. And I was, what the heck are you doing here? 7:30 morning in the morning. Ah, no, please let me sleep. So I just, and suddenly I was, what? What just happened? I just had a spirit coming through me. And I was, okay, now I'm awake. I cannot go back to sleep anymore. And I reach out to a friend of mine who's also a medium. And I say, I think that your mom just come to visit me. And she was, why? said, I don't know. And she was, it makes no sense. I said, I know, but I think it was your mom. And a few days later, she called me and said, you were right. It was my mom. She wanted to know if you were a nice girl. I was, okay, but please next time, not on a Saturday morning. It's my time for me to sleep, you know? And that's how slowly, when I was having clients, I start, to channel energy, sensation, name, those kind of things. And I ended with my first mediumship circle where I had like 12 people coming, and I was welcoming the message from the love past one, like up to 24 people. So it has been quite a journey through uh, in less than 5 years, in fact.
Yeah. I was gonna say yes. I want to kind of. I love that when you said about the let's just call it Western medicine, right? Like the Western medicine
Yes.
journey of sun and all that stuff. And I feel like we've talked about that a little bit on previous podcasts because I feel like right now, like in this moment, in today's age,
Mm.
it is huge, right? Like we have
Yes.
all Western medicine is great. It's good.
Mm.
You need it.
Yes.
But
We need
it's
it.
like you also need we also need all of us, every single one of us
Yes.
in this entire earth also need to understand that we can heal our bodies. We need holistic stuff. You need to like kind of look in if like Western medicine works, right, for a little bit,
Hmm.
but it also works to a certain point that we also can work with
Yes.
our body. So I want to point that
Exactly.
out, especially to the
Yes.
listeners.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, for me, it was like the Western medicine gonna heal the symptom, but maybe not, the root cause. And my son was very young, and it was such a rare disease that it was like they want to take him like a beta test, and I was, I'm sorry, but no. And all my life, I've been following, the Western medicine, but I truly believe that there's something else that can be here, and it can come in complement. Definitely. I absolutely not saying that don't go to see your practitioner. No, but sometimes we're gonna just heal the symptom, but it's important to know why is this cancer? And sometimes through healing, you know that, oh, that means this and that means that. That maybe someone told you this, and suddenly it's because you can't smell someone. You have something to express, but you don't dare. So your throat is in pain. So you're gonna hear the symptom, but not the cause. So that's why for me it was a good way to see, okay, what else exists also.
Yeah, I feel like that was like a huge thing that I need. And I feel like there's moms listening to this, dads listening to this that are like, they could be going through the same thing that you did. And this could be that, like, oh, I actually
Mm.
need to go to a funcing medicine doctor. I actually need to go
Yes,
to a holistic naturopath or whatever to do. I mean,
exactly.
both. You can have both doctors.
Yes.
I mean, I have both doctors. I mean,
Mm.
my blood work is always normal. I don't feel
Mm.
normal. And it's like, oh, it's because you have high cortisol. Oh, it's because your hormones are all jacked up. Oh, it's because this. And I'm like, I told you I wasn't normal, but my normal doctor tells me I'm always normal. And I'm like, no, I'm not normal. I mean, I'm personally not normal, but I'm just saying my blood work.
I love it.
So, I mean, I wanted to point that out because I feel like I know it's
Yes.
a part of your story, but that is a huge thing that I think that in today's world, that is huge. Now, kind of going back to
Hmm.
where like your 3D life, kind of tell us a little bit
Hmm.
about where you come from when you were in the 3D. Well, we're on the 3D, but when you were
Yeah.
into the 3D.
Yeah. So in the 3D, I was coming from a family where perfectionism, but also performance was like the key. So all my life, I try, to climb the ladder. I've done like 17 years in human resources, working in very big corporation like LVMH. I've been working for industry, automotive companies, and so on. And one day, I felt that no, there's something more. There's something different. And it started during COVID, where I really struggled to have my kids because I was diagnosed with a premenopause. And my doctor told me, you cannot have kids. But inside of me, I had that feeling that I can hear the diagnosis, but I will not accept it and I will trust my body. And I get naturally for kids afterwards. And during COVID, it's like I rediscover what I struggled to have my kids, but I was so much into performance. I need to be the best employee. I need, to have the next promotion. I need to have the next salary rise. That I was just busy with my work, but not busy with my family. And at that moment, when I was working half time, I was, what will I do with that other part of my life? Like I was stopping working at 1 p.m. and till 6. It's what will I do? And I start re-enjoying time with my kids. And it was fascinating because this is when I decided to open a side also. And I start, to create magical candles. And after I did some healing, I did some reading, and I started to do coaching because I was trained as a coach, as a human resource director, and so on. And I was okay. I think that I'm not meant to continue to climb the ladder. I'm not meant to become a VP, SVP, or whatsoever. I want to help women to have an impact. And I started to discover, and have another view, another perspective of how women were treated, in company because I was pretty young, be part of some CEO meetings, high level meeting, boards, and so on. And I was most of the time the only woman. And that means something. And so many women don't dare to talk about who they are, what they do, claim their power. And I was, no, I cannot let that continue. And so now that's what my business is all about, and my movement that I call revolution for the era of evolution. It's like, ladies, it's time to speak up. It's time to stand up, and it's time just to show up and stop dimming your life. Stop minimizing who you are, and especially when you are a healer, you are, in a yoga, or you are a psychic, a medium. I hide myself for years because I was, what if I'm rejected? What if my colleagues learn about what I'm doing? And until one day my colleagues find my Instagram and say, what are you doing? And it was, oh my God, the shame of my life, when you are known as, wearing suits and so on. And people say, you're a psychic? You're a medium? And some people don't believe in this. So for me, it was like, oh my God, my credibility just, just crashed. But I was,
Yeah.
no, this is who I am. I struggle to show up on social media. The first time I had to do my first video, oh my God, it took me like years, and it was a disaster. But after I challenged myself, and for me today, after 17 years, I've been mainly working on showing up people potential. But I discovered that we don't care about your potential in most of the company. It's how we can get more money. And for me, it was no, I want people to be revealed. I want people to be in their full potential. And when I saw that was not really possible, and the more you were climbing the ladder, the more political it was, I was okay. I'm done, and I'm gonna do it by myself. And so that's how I started to help women to say, okay, now, please, ladies, stop dimming your light and it start to shine brightly. And don't be afraid of success. Don't be afraid to take place, because so many times it's like, I feel invisible. I'm not at the right place, or I don't know if I can do it. Just do it. And you will see what you will discover about you. Gonna be just fabulous.
Yes. I was going to say, I feel like that's a lot of people listening, and even my story, that, I wasn't in corporate America, but I worked in healthcare. So, I was born with my gifts. They were very, they were very prevalent. I always felt like I couldn't fit in. It's probably why I named my podcast
Mm,
Enlightened Misfits. Like, I never fit in here. It's because, I mean,
yes.
people that resonate with that, they're like, I don't fit in either. But it was more of like, I would say things because I also
Mm,
could see things, hear things, all the smell things, feel things, all that. And people would be like, you're crazy. And it's like, so then I started to believe that for a while. And then I
yeah.
realized, no, I'm
Mhm.
not the crazy one. You guys are, not me. But yeah,
Mhm.
like, it was scary to come out and say that I'm,
Yes.
a medium, a psychic, because you get called a psychopath. And it's like, you don't know that. That's not
Yeah.
real. And it's like, but it is real. So it's like now people are like, oh, so Lauren wasn't telling us a lie. She just, maybe it was like I was probably saying things when people aren't ready to hear it. So, like, which is true. Like, sometimes you just don't say things when people don't want to hear it because they're not
Mhm.
ready to hear the truth to it all. But so,
Yes.
so how did your 17 years in the corporate world, how was it, like, I know you told us a little bit about the transition, but like how did that logic driven structure transition, how did you transition that to trusting your intuitive gifts?
Um, that's a very good question. It has been a journey because I was so rational, I was so rational, but it happened so many times, where I had this moment where I was applying for a job and I've been accepted, but a better job came after and I knew it. You know those words when you say, I knew it. Oh my God, I felt it. Or I knew I should have listened to myself, and I start to say those words and sentences more and more and more. Or I've had some people, I was doing recruitment. Oh, this person, all my directors, yes, but no, it seems to be an amazing person. I couldn't explain what there's something weird about this person. And after a few weeks, heard the person because it was not exactly what it on the paper. And I was, huh. So my intuition is talking to me like every day. And every time I don't listen to it. And this is where I start to say, okay, there's something behind. And I need to, it's not I need to, but I was inviting myself to say, Flavie, just take a moment, take a deep breath. And is it the only way? And if I felt that, no, maybe I can listen to that inner voice and not go, to my rigid, structured way of approach, maybe the result's going to be different. Because I was really so, oh my God, a square is a square. You will not put a circle in a square. And now it's like everything can go in a square. And it was just slowly having evidence, having those evidence that, no, something else is existing. And I just need to listen to this. And I took a time, to reflect also to the moment I was not able to get pregnant. And I had that certainty. I had that inner knowing that I will get pregnant. No matter what the doctor told me, no matter what my family told me, I knew. And that has
Yeah.
been like the triggers that change everything. The moment I say, I knew, but I cannot explain why, how, I can't explain it, but I know.
Hey there, I just wanted to take a quick moment to share with all of you spiritual rebels and fempreneurs. If you've been craving a space where you can build wealth, heal trauma, and rise alongside like-minded women, I got something for you to hear about. I'm excited to invite you into the Enlightened Misfits Sisterhood. This is a low-cost, high-impact group membership designed exclusively for spiritual fempreneurs who know they need accountability and support to create sustainable wealth, but aren't ready to dive into a one-on-one mentorship. In this membership, you'll get monthly calls, rituals, healing sessions, and workshops to break through your self-doubt and build confidence so that you can consistently sell your offers and make money. This is also a collaborative private Facebook community where you make lifelong connections with other women who are just as serious as hitting their goals. And my personal guidance as your intuitive human design business guide and trauma healer, ensuring you stay aligned and on track with your business goals. Plus, you'll get free access to all my paid workshops and masterclasses, along with exclusive VIP pricing for my one-on-one Voxer membership. This membership is all about helping you heal the sabotaging behaviors blocking your abundance and using your human design to create a business that feels amazing to run. Imagine waking up excited to serve your clients and knowing that you have the exact support you need to hit every single one of your business goals every single month. So if you're ready to rise and build wealth with a sisterhood of spiritual misfits, make sure you click the registration link in the description box. Right now, the investment is just $88 a month, but the price will increase to $197 a month. Join today to unlock exclusive rates and get access to next month's kickoff call. Let's get back to today's episode, but remember, your next level is just one decision away. Join the sisterhood and let's rise together. I was going to say, yes, I feel like that is that what you just said there. It's like you have this inner knowing, or you just know but don't know how to explain it. I can't even tell you how many times, even now, I mean, I still have it all the time when I'm like, even somebody will say something or something will happen or like a huge event that I have warned people or family members about, or like, hey, you should check on this person or that.
Mm,
Like, oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. And then it happens. And I'm like,
yes.
I knew it. Like, why doesn't anybody believe
I
me?
knew
Like,
it.
still to this day, I'm like, I can
Yes.
see it. I can see, I'm not saying that like I can see people's future. I just can see different
Yeah.
things. They're shown to me for a reason to prepare me or
Mm,
whatever, you know? It's always like, but I always keep
yes.
quiet. Sometimes I'm like, maybe it'll play out differently. Maybe the energy will change. Maybe, this and that, but it doesn't. And then I'm like,
Yes. Yes.
I'm always telling
Mm-mm.
myself, it will. Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
I know exactly
for
about.
time, yes, I even, at a time, it was like 3, 4 years ago, start to teach to my client how to listen to your intuition. And I told them you need to have like a very small notebook where you're gonna note, every time you say, I knew it, know the situation and see how many times per day, per week, per month your intuition is talking to you. And that exercise helped me also to say, okay, I need some time just to take a deep breath and just
Yeah.
feel. And because the knowing is there and you don't need a reason. When you know, you don't need the reason behind.
Yes, I like that. Is good. That is a reminder for myself too, that if you know, you don't.
Yes.
So earlier you mentioned that you were scared at first of mediumship at first. So what kind of helped you kind of get over this fear and embrace your gifts fully?
It took me time, and for me, it has been to be connected with like-minded people, definitely. So after I took courses about mediumship, and I took uh, courses, where I found people on Instagram. I never saw them. I was just, receiving vocal, and I was, I don't like this. And after I looked to, okay, I'm based in France. Who in France is teaching about mediumship? Not so many people, let's be honest, because here, at least in my country, it's not something you share too much. The woo-woo thing, it's not open as much as the US. In the US, sometimes I have the feeling that people are more open and you can talk more about it. And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had different level of courses. And I was okay, first, I need to listen to some of my friends. So I did some courses about healing and maybe more oracle, how to read oracle, tarot, and so on. And here there was two ladies. They were also psychic and medium, and they were telling me, Flavie, the buzz in your ear is because you don't want to hear them. And I was, no, I don't want to hear them. And say, it's like if someone was talking to you. And I was, but I don't know what's going to be the voice. Will it be like a masculine, frightening voice? Will it be a woman, scary voice? I was, make of my mind so much story. Like I was better than Spielberg in my imagination and what I could even imagine. And I was, maybe the horror movie did not help me because it's like a representation of, for me, not a reality. And finally, when I took my different mediumship course, so I was surrounded by like many people. I was guided because I had the teacher who was very strong, very famous, and really can put boundaries because sometimes it's also I don't know who I'm going to meet. I don't know who's going to come to me. And that was also, the scary thing. And during COVID, you saw so many people doing so on. And I don't want to play that game. No, it's kind of scary and I don't want to enter it. So I need someone who can hold the boundaries, guide me, show me the way. And find it has been much more easier than what I thought. And it was not that scary at all. For me, I never had anything scary. I always had so many beautiful, heartfelt messages. And after, I start to recognize signs like when people are coming to me, I never call them. That's the first thing. I never call them, but they're coming to me like my room is suddenly losing temperature. It started to be so freezing in my office. Like it's like okay, someone is coming. And after the messages I was receiving were so beautiful that it helped me to gain confidence because most of the time, and I think it was part of the journey to say, the people I was channeling were here to say that their descendant was a game changer of the family. They were here to encourage the people. They were here to pass so beautiful message that people every time were crying, say, how can you know that? You know, I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger from your love past one, but at the same time, I'm the messenger of your soul. So that's why after I was, okay, in a sense, I'm a soul messenger because the soul can be the love past one, the living one. I'm just, getting the messages and I'm just sending it back. And so for me, it comes through practice, repetition, and be surrounded by like-minded people, an environment when I felt trustful, respectful, where there was no judgment. We had no comparison because I also discovered that we don't channel at all the same way. Some will see the people, some will hear voices, some will feel. So don't try to think that there's only one way to do mediumship. There's so many ways. I could almost say, as many people are medium, as many ways to be mediumship you have. And a part of me also thinks that we are all medium. We are not just all open. We are maybe not all ready, but sometimes life is giving you a kick in your butt to say, now it's your time. And you cannot
Right.
fight for it anymore. That's what happened to me. The message came more and more pressing. My ears were really in pain. And I was okay, just try and see. And I absolutely don't regret because I have lived so many beautiful moments that it would have been, in fact, a shame and a disservice, to all those people to say, I don't pass a message. So for me, it's like, okay, now it's like an honor, but it's also an act of service to say, no, I'm here to go and pass the messages, be the messenger for those who need it.
Yes, I love that because I feel like I also do believe in that when people say like when there is some of a darker part of the spiritual community that it's like, oh, I only can do this, I can do this, and here's me. I'm like, no, we're all intuitive. We all are born
Yes,
with intuition. And then you're right. It's like some people aren't meant to wake up this lifetime. That's okay. That's not their path.
mhm,
Maybe they haven't met the right people to wake up or, whatever it is. But I'm like, and that's how it is with like with my work with my clients too, that I'm just like, I'm only here because people give me so much credit I'm honored and I'm like, I'm only here to help you remember who you are. I'm not here to tell you who you are. I'm here to help you remember. So I love that you said
yes,
that too, because that is like, I feel like that is what people need to hear, that they don't
yeah,
need to be somebody else. They just need to be who they are, but they have to find it in another way.
yes,
I can hear, see, feel, sometimes smell, whatever, but it's not all activated at the same time. It's like, God, I would go crazy if that was a happening. But like when I do channel or do get messages, I was the same way in the beginning too. Like I felt like this is weird. Like this is like
yeah,
what's going on? Like, am I the only one that sees this? Like what's got. So I guess in a way I kind of probably resonate with being scared of mediumship too, because, or I would be like, and if I didn't deliver this message, spirit would be like, there would be something dramatic that happens and that I would learn that if I
yes,
don't deliver this message, because sometimes I feel like some people don't want to hear it. So it's like, then
yes,
I'm just the messenger. Like I'm not,
yeah,
but then now, it's all about frequency. So it's like now when I say the message, they actually need that message. So it's like, it's
yes.
different. When you first start, it's like, why did you just say that to me?
Mm-mm. Yeah, and
Like,
I fully agree. I truly think that when we are receiving the message, it's because the person in front is ready to receive it, and we just receive what need to be shared. And literally, this happened to me like 2 days ago. A woman so Cartesian, like she's a doctor, she doesn't believe in all those kind of things, but her sister came to us, and I was okay. I know she don't believe in those kind of things, so how can I share that with her? And
yeah,
the way I bring it, she was, there's no ways that you can know that. There's no way. We never spoke one to each other. We didn't know each other. And she was, if you can know that, okay.
she's,
So it's like my
yeah,
brain is just like what I always believe now. It's like putting question. And this is what I love because people, when they feel it's again, I'm coming back to the emotion, to the feeling, it's like they cannot fight it. They cannot fight it. And they know that it's meant for a reason. And I love what you shared. And this is what I'm saying all the time. And you can find on my website too. It's we are here to remember who you are. And as you shared, we have different ways of feeling. I can feel, I'm very kinesthetic, I can smell, I can sometimes tell you, okay, I have a big dog and the colors and so on. I can see shape, I can see images, and it's like, it really depends. And when you ask me, how do you do this? It's like, I can't even tell you how I do that. It just comes through me. And it's like, but do you see where it is? No, it's like, and I cannot even say I'm seeing through my eyes because it's like, there's like a movie, between my eyes and my brain. And it's so weird and it's hard to explain, the way I see things, but people can so much resonate with it that it's like, okay, there's something. Even if I don't believe it, there's something. And this is where I love to say, okay, yes, there's not just life and death. Sometimes there's something in between, and sometimes there's something after. And it changed the perspective of so many people. And I don't want to give hope because sometimes people are hoping for a message, hoping for something. It's like you may not get it. And the more you're going to be in the expectation, the less you might be able to receive it. And most of the time, what I've seen, it's when people were the less ready for it, it's when the message came.
Right. Yes, I love that. And that I love that you said that because there's a lot of people that were like, I'm going to go to a psychic and she didn't tell me this and she didn't tell me and I'm like, here's the thing. You're only going to get the message that you need to know. And here's the thing.
Exactly.
I've done the psychic online, readings and stuff. And I put right on my profile, I used to put right on my profile, if you want me to co-sign all of the bullshit that you want to hear, that's not me. Because that's not that's
Yes.
not real. That's the other side of spirituality. They're just getting
Yes.
help. They want your money. They want you to believe that is actually doing you a disservice. And I'm not on that. I said, I think
No.
like past lifetimes that I know past lifetimes I abused my power.
Hmm.
I was always
Yeah.
in like a higher power of like a shaman. I do know that a past life I abused my power as a shaman. So this lifetime,
Yeah.
having that connection and understanding that like I was scared to do the shamanic journey this lifetime because I'm like, I know what I did in other lives and I know I need to
Mm.
get that out. So it's like knowing that I'm like, I'm not doing
Yes.
this lifetime. I'm not doing it this lifetime. So it's like I see it because I used to do that. Not this lifetime, but like I used to do that. And
Yes.
I always remind people if that triggers you, it's because it's probably coming from a past life. And if you probably
Hmm.
remember that, and
Yeah.
getting into the past life, I want to talk a little bit about your past life experience with doing like past life readings and reviewing like major insights. So like how do you see past life influence in current business or self-sabotaging patterns?
A lot. Honestly, it's like so many times I've seen my client blocked by things that they say it make no sense. I don't know why I'm blocked. And like, I was doing session where I was just doing past life reading and it make no sense that way because it's like what is it for? And some people were only looking, okay, was I Nefertiti, Cleopatra, or what's the point? Why do you want to know if you were, at that time? It was just for ego. And I was, no, let's have a look. Sometimes, I had people say, I'm so afraid of water, but I don't know why. So traveling for me in my business is like not possible. What if the plane crash? What if I fall in? And I was, wow, that's a lot.
Yes.
But good question. Why are you afraid of water? And suddenly, you just have that download that, oh, you died in a water during World War II or something like this. And they were, oh my God. And people are like having feeling, having fears, having sensations. And after I'm helping them, to get through this. And I have seen so many times people having struggle in their business where it's because they have done something in the past life. And no,
Me.
what if I do something wrong? My soul is a bit afraid of doing something that, oh, I abused a bit in the past. And so this is where I find it so fascinating and interesting. It's okay, what happened in a past life happened for a reason. And you learn, because if you're afraid this past life, it's because you learn from the past. We always learn. So instead of seeing that as a failure, see it as a learning. What did you learn? What experience can you take from this? And what can you do differently this time? Because you are not the same person, you are not in the same incarnation. So as long as it serves your mission, you're doing good. As long as you're doing good, it's good. And it's always, what is the intention that you have behind? And I've seen so many people who so I had a lady who came to me because she was stuck at 5K. She was, I don't know why. And there was two elements. One element where she has been bullied when she was younger, but there was also something in a past life. And when she just get the awareness of what happened, something shifted. It was like, oh my God, now I know. The fact to know was like the game changer. And 2 weeks later, she called me and said, Flag, you will never believe it. I changed my communication. I went live. I stopped, being rigid and structuring my communication, controlling everything. And I just crossed my first 10K a month. And I was, how beautiful is that? Just because she gained the awareness of something that happened in the past, but she forgot. And that's why we are here to remembering you. And by remembering what happened, you can learn, you can grow, you can change, and you can have then a different impact.
Yes, I love that. I love that you said that, because here's the thing. This is the question I literally was just thinking when you were talking about this. I do not think that entrepreneurs, regardless if they're a spiritual entrepreneur, they believe in all the woo-woo stuff, whatever, energy work, whatever, I do not think that they know, they should know, but they don't, that their past lives are the reason what's blocking them. So like every block, it's like, you say, okay, so I call it the witch wound, but it means it doesn't matter. You could be a doctor, a medicine woman. A witch wound just means medicine woman, right? Like, but it's a witch wound usually
Hmm.
that has to do with a money block or an emotional block. And it's like when I say that,
Yes.
people are like, wait a second, what did you just say? I only have two blocks
Mhm.
here. And I'm like, yes, it's either a money block, whatever that is, from
Yes.
whatever that experience is from past life, and I said, and they're like, well, how do you know that? I was like, trust me, it took me like 3 years to figure out I only have ever two blocks. Like, why do I feel like I'm self sabotaging myself? And usually,
Hmm.
one of my situations that I explained, like that I said earlier, was Spirit kept telling me I needed to go to the shamanic journey. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. So I
Yes.
looked into it and I was like, oh, no, 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 no. And then I talked to a friend and she was like, but what is scary about it? And I was like, I know a past life of when I abused. And she was like, that is why you need to do it. And I was like,
Hmm.
okay, let's just try
Yes.
it. And I tried it and it dramatically shifted everything in my life, but because I stopped
Yeah.
resisting it. So I think it's really important that when you said that about, past lives and how it truly, even to this day, both of us, me and you, I'm sure there's something currently in our business that we're resisting or we're self-sabotaging or something that's
Yes.
connected to a past life. We just maybe don't know about it, or maybe we do know about it and we're just like, okay, we'll change
We,
that.
we don't want to say it for ourselves.
I mean, I think I
Yeah.
just went through mine a little bit, a little bit of like my money wound still. But I feel like every level, I always said to myself, well, once I get to that level, once I get to 5K months, once I get to this, once I get to that, that it'll be easier. And I realized I
Mm.
got to 5K months. Was it consistent? No, because I kept self-sabotaging myself back down to
Hmm.
what I used to do. So now it's like I have to be consistent. Oh, I need to go do
Mm.
this. Oh, all that stuff. But it's always a big,
Yes.
big roadblock detour test. It's like, it doesn't really matter. And I feel like a lot of big coaches and people that talk about 10K months, 100K months, they don't talk
Yes.
about what they had to do to get through there. And it's like,
To overcome.
right. And I feel like that should be talked about every single time you talk about, I made 10K.
Yes.
I made 100K this month. I made whatever, whatever. We'll talk about what actually got you there instead of just talking about the money, because that
Hmm.
is what's important, I
Yes.
feel like, in my
Yes.
perspective.
Yeah.
I feel
And
like,
I fully agree.
yeah.
So many ones, that I see most of the time are emotional. And that's why, every time in my communication, in what I do, it's like, okay, you have a strategy, you know what to do. So why are you still stuck? If you know what to do, why are you still stuck? And most of the time, it's because, yes, there is something to work on, which is more on your identity. But again, no one talked to work first on your identity because you can learn all the strategy. But if after you're afraid of showing up, you're afraid of speaking up, because maybe when you speak up, you have been burned, or because when you have speak up, you have been put in jail, you will not be able to speak up now. So it's important first to work on you, or in parallel, that you are starting your entrepreneurship journey, because otherwise, the moment you're going to learn the strategy, you're going to face a wall and you're going to be, why it's not working? I've done yes, except working on you and looking why are you stuck? What is blocking you? And psychic side, it's okay. Some things that happen with a teacher, some things that happen with your parents, some things that happen with someone in your surrounding. And sometimes it's something, yes, that happened far before. But if you don't know it, if you sometimes don't clean it in a way, or if you just ignore it, you will continue to be stuck. And so for me, that's a bit, my battle in a sense. And no, we need first to work on you, and after you will see the road gonna be so much easier because the road gonna be clean. And sometimes you need, to be the pioneer. You need to clean up the road for others too, because you're the one who's just gonna open a way to so many others.
Right. Yeah, and I can definitely resonate what you said too. It's kind of like walking between the worlds of like strategy and spirituality, because people, it's like strategy is so masculine and you need that, right? Like
Yes.
you need that, but you also need divine feminine. And I'm finally seeing now that more coaches are teaching more about divine feminine, because nobody, I mean, sure, you need to know about strategy, you need to know about the masculine, but you need
Yes.
both in your life, your personal life, whatever you do in whatever, and but you also need it in business. And I feel like some people don't understand that their business is a direct reflection on how they treat themselves, how they're in relationships. Like, I feel like everybody separates it, and it's because society separates everything. That's a
Yeah.
normal, like, conditioning. I feel like all of us are, but I'm always like, nothing is separate. None of us are separate.
Mm.
We all come from the same source. Like, nothing's separate. And we all, again, us humans, like humanists, like our humanness, our ego likes to separate and compartmentalize everything. And it's just like, no, it's the same. If you're having a business struggle, well, are you having a struggle in your, like in your personal life? Are you having a struggle in your
Yeah.
relationship? Like, figure out what that is. And it's like, once I ask those questions, because I ask myself the same questions. I mean, sometimes I'm biased
Mm.
or resist it, but normally it's reflected into my clients too. Like, if I'm having a
Mm-mm.
struggle within myself or I'm going through something, I know for a fact, if I talk about it with my client or I say, hey, this is what
Yeah.
I experienced, because maybe they won't come to you, right? Like, in the beginning, like, hey, how are you feeling this week? And they're like, well, where do you want me to start? Or it's like, hey, I want to tell you my experience with this. This is what I did to get through it. Are you having the same experience? And I'm telling you, like 98% of the time, they're like, oh my God, that happened to me too. But this was it's a, obviously like a different experience. So
Mm.
I feel like, again, we're all mirrors. And I feel like, especially
Yes.
spiritual entrepreneurs, like our clients are our mirrors and our biggest teachers, I feel like, because we're here to help them and they're here to like help us. Like, integrating both of them together, I feel like, is really powerful.
Exactly. So true. So true.
So,
Yeah.
before we wrap up, would you kind of give the audience like one more nugget of your wisdom, that could help a future entrepreneur, when it's more women led, from intuition rather
Yes.
than the hustle culture?
Yeah. So for me, it's find your way to listen to your intuition. So for example, for me, I love taking bath. It's the best time. It's like my time where my intuition is literally talking to me. And I've seen that, we're in a world where we're always overconnected, but connected with this, not with people. We are always, in the rush. And sometimes, and this is the question I asked last week to my audience, when was a time when you literally did nothing, but nothing, like just be in the moment. And so many people told me, I can't even remember. Or when I'm sleeping, I say, no, when you're sleeping, it's cheating. So, sometimes it's just to say it's okay to do nothing, because this is a moment where you just open the space to you. Because one of the mistakes we do most of the time is we're busy with everybody and we just forget about ourselves. But don't forget, you are. So you need to sometimes put yourself first. Be mindful of your sleep. Be mindful of what you're going to feed yourself energetically and what you are reading, the people around you. So there are so many elements which are important in your life, but what is the most important is which space do you allow yourself to be in? And it starts by sometimes being a moment of silence. I'm not saying meditating, but just be in the be, stop being in the do, and you will see, you will get insight, you will have intuitive things coming to you. And most of the time, these are the things coming from your heart, not your head, because most of the time we try to think the things what the society, what the guru, what social media, and so on. But when you just tap into your heart, this is where the truth is coming. And as we shared so many times, it's just time for you to remember who you are, what you came for in this life, and have this come from the moment you tap into yourself.
Mic drop. Thank you for joining us on today's episode on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with somebody that you feel that would gain knowledge from listening. If you're watching this over on YouTube, make sure you check out all of her links below to be able to connect with her website, and show her some love on her social medias, and go follow her. And if you're listening to this, also all of her links will be below in the description box. So make sure that you go connect with her there. Stay tuned for more captivating conversations in the future. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you next week. Thank you for joining us on another enlightening episode on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you are a current or inspiring to be fempreneur, suffering from the fear of being seen and or feel very triggered when you're building your business, reach out to me at The Mermaid Light about my Rich and Resilient Biz Baddies. This is a collective text message Voxer support group designed to help you heal your triggers and turn imposter syndrome into bad bitch energy. If you resonate with our conversations and insight, don't forget to subscribe, rate the show, and leave a review. Your feedback fuels our mission. Remember, your journey to unwavering certainty and purpose is ongoing. So please make sure you stay connected with us on social media. Keep manifesting greatness in your life. Until next time, this is Lauren from the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Stay enlightened, stay inspired, and keep manifesting your extraordinary path.